Hello and welcome back to another bad movie reviews review. We're bringing her back, and it is none other than a review for the latest RackaRacka or Filippo brothers um, movie, who most people would know for directing Talk to Me, which came out a couple years ago now, and was a hugely successful Australian horror film that I would highly recommend going to see. And this is their follow up, which is titled Bring Her Back. Now, if you don't know anything about the film, I would recommend going in to see it, knowing as little as possible. It is once again another horror type film, but I will give you the littlest information that is none other than reading the plot synopsis, which is basically about a brother and sister who are going to a new foster mother's house and essentially uncover something terrifying. Um, Now, I'm obviously a big fan of Talk to Me. I just sort of stated that, and this is a film I've been looking forward to for quite some time because being Australian, I love the RackaRacka channel or the Filippo brothers, and I'm really excited about what they're doing next. And this is a film I was excited for, and I'm extremely happy. Well, happy is probably a wrong word, to be honest. This is a fantastic movie in every facet. At the screening I was at, actually lucky enough to have some actors from the film and some people who worked on it, like the prosthetics, makeup artists, and things like that, which is really cool to see. And I think they're becoming one of the most exciting directors working, in my opinion. Obviously, they've loved their horror film. I'm always intrigued to see what they're going to do. I think horror, and I've stated this before, is one of the hardest genres to make and to make well. This is a vastly different departure from Talk to Me tonally, and like in terms of the way, more so, not as many horror elements. I would say it's more. Well, Talk to Me obviously had your jump scares and your This film's more of like a deeply unsettling film. It's hard to watch. It's gory at times. It's it feels evil at times. Like there are scenes happening and it feels like genuine evil on the screen, like some of the scenes that unfold. But I loved it. I think it's got very similar thematical view, like thematical side of things where it deals with grief and deals with loss and the depths and the ways people will go to deal with that. And I think that's a really interesting thing, and it's something that will connect with a lot of people. And I also think horror films, while a lot of them are great, and I love a lot of horror films, I think the difficulty with that is you're obviously trying to scare people and freak them out. But I feel like a majority of horror films don't allow you to connect with the characters, and I feel like that's what separates the really beloved and good horror films compared to the not so much. And I think one thing I love about the RackaRacka boys or the Filippo brothers is in Talk to Me, it allowed you to really connect with the characters and what they're going through. And this film's no different. It allows you to really connect with what's going on, really connect with the characters. Sally Hawkins is phenomenal in this movie. You've also got Billy Barrett, who is fantastic, who plays Andy. All the cast are just top notch. If you've watched Talk to Me, you would know that they've got some really interesting directing techniques that are still prominent in this film. And I think in the review of Talk to Me, which I did with Daniel, I think I spoke about it. About there's a certain rawness to their film and Australian films of that matter, and I think this is no different. Where the sound design is deeply unsettling. It's the rawness of the film. There's just something to it, and I love it. I genuinely love it. This is a film I will recommend to a lot of people, and I'll recommend to a lot of horror fans. I don't know if it's a film I'll watch again, and I probably said this about Talk to Me, although probably this more or less. I think Talk to Me has a rewatchability to it, whereas this, it probably will in time. I'm obviously coming out of seeing it tonight, and it's a film that deeply upset me. It's deeply unsettling. It is hard to watch. It is phenomenally acted. Everyone in their craft. Filippo brothers have directed it extremely well. Whether the craft, whether the prosthetics, makeup, the acting, everyone is really, really at the top of their game here, in my opinion. And it's just made me extremely excited about what they're directing next, what they're doing next. And I'm just rooting for them. I did go into this expecting to be deeply unsettled, but one thing I'll give it a huge props for is towards the end of the film, I actually found myself quite emotional, which, to be honest, is one of the only horror films that I can think of that have managed to do such. And I think that's props to the performances, a huge props to the directing and the story itself to allow you to connect with these characters, allow you to connect what's going on. Not saying that, um, you empathize with what's happening, not saying you would agree with any of it. I know I won't get into any more of it than that, but you really empathize with every character in this situation, every single one. And I think that is props to the directors, props to the story, but props to the actors. And I just think it is a deeply, deeply evil film. It made me feel, so uncomfortable and so unsettled the whole time. I had a feeling of like dread the whole movie. And I think, in my opinion, that's a horror film doing its job and doing its job extremely well. And I can't wait to talk more about this to people. It's a film I highly recommend. If you're watching this review, please go see it. If you have seen the film, I'd love to hear what you think and comment below what you think of the film. And if you prefer to talk to me or what you feel like, I feel like this is a really interesting departure from that thematical feel of Talk to Me. And it's a film that I think they've outperformed in terms of their directing and storytelling. And I'm just so excited about what they're going to do next. But yeah, if you have seen it, comment below, let me know what you think. If you like the review, do give it a like. It does mean a lot. Subscribe for more of them, and we'll see you next time.